I grew up with two families, three cousins, a younger brother, an older brother, 2.5 years older, my brother Joel, and my cousins Susie and Patty, who were twins, and they had an older sister, Eileen. I had my uncle Munny and my Aunt Gladys. My Aunt Gladys was my mother Edna's sister. And I had my father, Milton. My father was a waiter at the Stage Deli in New York City, one of the most famous delicatessens in New York. The sandwiches were this big, and I'm not exaggerating. Delicious. I once got one and went to an art show that I was buying art and stuff, and I had it in my bag. And everywhere I went, people were smelling it, and going, "What's that?" And the Reuben sandwich, he later worked at the Carnegie Deli, and the Reubens, I loved it. I'd kill for one right now. But I grew up in this family where I was the youngest, and I had 9 people to deal with. And I was not, I was an energetic guy in that. And let me back up a little. I came into this family premature, sickly. They had to change my blood. I was allergic to my mother's blood. And I had a tough time. And I came adored into this family. And I played that as much as I could. I mean, I was gregarious and funny. That's how I survived. Because if I didn't, I was annoying and obnoxious too. So they would hit me and tell me to get away, but I had 9 people to play on. So when somebody got tired of me, I went to somebody else or went to my cousin's rooms until they threw me out. And I was able to go from bed to bed. I'd get in between my uncle and aunt and watch TV with them. And when they threw me out, which they would, I knew they would, when my time was up and they didn't want me in bed, I would jump into somebody else's bed. And finally, I'd go downstairs because I grew up and they took the master bedroom and my parents lived in one part, and I had about a third where they put a double-decker bed in. My brother was on top and I was at the bottom. And we lived in this one little, we only had one bathroom, one shower, one bath, and we all lived in peace. I never heard an argument between the families. This is the truth. I never heard an argument between them. They settled everything, maybe behind doors, but they were respectful of each other and everybody's space, and everybody knew sort of their place. And I knew my place. I was an entertainer. I was a storyteller. From a very young age, I would, if anybody wanted secrets kept, they better not tell me, because I'd tell the neighbors. My neighbors would warn my parents, don't tell him anything that you don't want out of your house, It was my job to tell the news, and I'm still that way. Don't tell me something. Well, no, I keep confidences. I certainly do. But if it's not a confidence, I talk about it. And, it's just the way I am. But I lived in this house, and it was wonderful. But it was real. My grandmother and her daughter and son-in-law and another son, they lived in the same house, really close. So we used to have parties. And they weren't parties, they were just get-togethers. Every weekend, they'd be at my house or we'd be at their house. And because it was the center of 2 big families, all the cousins and other brothers and sisters. My mother had 5 siblings. They would come to our house, or my grandmother's, and we would have family get-togethers almost every weekend, and even during the week and stuff. So I had to navigate a family of trees. We were forests, and I had to navigate and be part of this group and to get along with a lot of people. And I think that's been one of my strengths, is I like almost everybody. I don't care if you're a schmuck. I don't care if you're mean. I don't care what you have, how much or how little. I see the best in almost everyone. I can see where people come from, and their shortcomings may be a product of how they were brought up, or what they saw in life, or how they responded, how they survived. And for that, I just feel like we need all these people, because it's a common humanity. If you're writing a novel about a village, you need the village idiot. You need the power-hungry people. You need the rich people, the poor people. We need them all to make our story complete. You know, you can shake your head and think, oh man, that guy's a real schmuck and he's the richest guy in the town. And you know, you'd think, why does that guy deserve it? But that ain't the way life works. But in my own life, I lost my grandfather at a young age. My family didn't, I was maybe too young to really understand it. And then my cousin Patty, one of the twins I lived with, when she was 19, she had a brain hemorrhage. I was, I believe, about 10 years younger. And my family didn't tell me about it. They said she was sick when she really had died. And I wasn't allowed to go to the funeral. I didn't even know about it. And I felt like that was something I would have rather experienced, not be hidden from it. That death still bothers me. After all these years, that was a terrible loss. Not just for myself, but I saw it in my aunt and uncle's eyes for a long, long time, till they passed. That certain look. These things hit hard. And the depth of grief and sorrow is the measure of the love. It's not something to be ashamed of. Those tears are a measurement of how important our loved ones are.